Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy.
Disappointed with the way that we played today. Again, particularly in the first half of the game. I've got to find a way to get this team to be more consistent. So that's on me. I'll have to do a better job.
That's Dennis Allen after 27-19 loss. Black and gold falls to Minnesota, falls to 500, 5-5 on the season. It is a little odd that a defense that has played so well for such a long time has been so poor early in games for the last month. And Dennis Allen's talked about it a bunch. I mean, Josh Dobbs just comes out yesterday. He's just slinging it all over the place. It was at a birthday lunch. I'm looking up at the TV. Every time I look up, he's ripping it down the field for another big game. He finished with 268 yards and the one touchdown. And he also, as we were a little bit concerned about last week, got going on the ground a little bit to the tune of 44 yards. Had a rushing touchdown as well. And the Vikings just kind of took whatever they wanted in the first half. Now, the Saints figured it out, and they got themselves back into the game in the second half, but the hole was too big. And it's just it's odd because we think the defense is good, and it does play good for half the game, but the first half of the game, they're just getting carved. And Hawkinson was all over the place yesterday, 11 catches for 134 yards and that touchdown. They targeted TJ Hawkinson 15 times in the game. And while they don't have Jefferson and they don't have Cousins, they pivot to their best player and make that work. And to me, the Saints got away from what they've done really well the last couple of weeks, and that's Taysom Hill. So there are issues on defense. There's issues on offense. It's not a good product right now. They did get a couple of wins against bad teams, and they go on the road and didn't play well. But Dennis Allen was asked after the game, like, what's the biggest issue facing your defense?
Our inability on first and second down to do a better job of getting them into third and longer situations. We're allowing too many first and second down conversions, not forcing enough, third downs early on in games. So we struggled again with the quarterback today. We had some opportunities to get him on the ground. We didn't cash in on those opportunities. We had some guys that were spying him, and he made some plays.
Just tough scene. Now, what about the lack of using Taysom Hill, who in the game had one carry for 6 yards? This is a guy who's been your running game for a month, and they went away from him. So why?
When you get down like that so early in the game, it really limits a lot of things that you want to try to be able to accomplish in a game. And so we got to be better defensively of keeping the score down, in the game, in the early part of the game, so we can have what we have as our game plan going in offensively. You kind of get out of it probably by the early part of the second quarter, just because you're now chasing points.
There's an element of truth to that you don't want to bring in a wildcat quarterback basically when you're down 24-3. Like, I get it, but it's 3 touchdowns. You're going to get the ball 3 times. Do whatever you think's best to try to score touchdowns when you get those drives in the second half, and Taysom has been that.
And it's not like Derek Carr is out there going to be trying to make really deep throws. He's a more conservative guy, so either way, just use Taysom.
Yeah, and look, Carr's super conservative and checks it down a ton, and then he obviously goes out of the game with a concussion and shoulder issues, and you bring in Jameis, and he's not conservative at all. He's letting that thing go, and he's getting it down the field, and he created some plays and made some really impressive talent plays, but he also had your two turnovers, one of which was just inexplicably bad off his back foot, totally off target, forced coverage, like the full Jameis Winston experience there. It just a disappointing loss for the Saints for sure. There is some information on the injury front from the Saints. I'm quoting Mike Triplett here with New Orleans Football. And I'll just read his tweets. Some good news, bad news on Saints injury front from Dennis Allen. Said Derek Carr's right shoulder checked out fine today, so he's all good. So it sounds like after the bye week, Derek Carr should be ready to roll. But Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore both had fairly significant injuries. Allen says not expected to be season-ending. I'm not going to get into the exact extent, but they'll both be rehabbing throughout the week. I don't see anything as being season-ending or anything like that, but we're still kind of going through second opinions and things like that. So that is what Mike Triplett had to say. Sounds like Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore may miss some time, and that stinks. Now, the Saints secondary is pretty deep. You got Adebo, who's played very, very well. Alontae Taylor has been good. Tyron looks old when you watch him play. He kind of looks a step slow, and that's not totally shocking. We're talking about a guy who was playing his college football in 2011. We're in 2023. He's been in the NFL a decade, and he looks a little bit slow. But the Saints are still in first place. The division's still awful. Just terrible performance by Atlanta yesterday as they lose, and so you sit here. And we're still having the exact same conversations that, well, are they the best team in the worst division? Are they the best team in the worst division? Yeah, probably. Is there any way you could count on this team to go into the playoffs and put together consecutive strong performances to try to make any noise whatsoever? That's difficult for me to conjure up. I think that Matt will probably go a little bit deeper than I am on it this afternoon. I was listening to his post-game reaction yesterday when he was driving Drew to the mall, and he's just sick of the entire thing with Carr and Carmichael and certainly Dennis Allen. And that's the thing is, like, even when there's a ray of sunshine and they do have a good week, there's just not a lot of confidence that you're going to come back the next week and have another really solid game. You're letting C.J. Stroud beat you. You're letting Josh Dobbs beat you. And I know Stroud's had a really nice first year, and they beat the Bengals yesterday. But you continue to play teams that you feel like you should be better than, and the results just aren't there. And that, more often than not, is going to lend itself back to coaching. And so, yeah, I'd rather Marshawn Lattimore be out there, and I'd rather Derek Carr, the starting quarterback who you paid $130 million to, be out there on the field. But they're not, and injuries happen. You got to go out there and find a way to win. The Vikings are finding ways to win. They don't have Jefferson. They don't have Cousins. But they won 5 games in a row because they're prepared and they execute and they find a way to make plays late in games when they have to win, and the Saints don't do that consistently. They just don't. And I thought that going away from Taysom Hill was a mistake yesterday, and I don't know what to make of the fact that the defense can't get off the bus. Still good in the third quarter, still solid in the fourth quarter, but can't figure out a way to get stops early in games when teams are going to what they've had scripted all week. And that's something they've got to figure out as they hit to the bye. You get to the bye, and you look at what the schedule holds, and it's still more not great. I mean, that's just the reality. You just don't have – there's not a stretch on this schedule that I look at and go, oh, this is where they're really going to get chewed up and spit out. It's just a lot of mediocre. It's at an Atlanta team that can't get out of its own way. Yes, the Lions are very good. It's a home game. You'll play them on the 3rd of December. But then you've got the Panthers, who are awful, the Giants, who might be worse. The Rams aren't any good. You're at Tampa, who's falling apart. And you've got Atlanta, who's, again, can't get out of their own way. So, like, there's only one more good team on your schedule. It's the Lions, and it's a home game in a couple of weeks. Everybody else stinks. So it feels like we all know where it's headed, the same place we thought it was headed back in August when we said, yeah, they're probably going to win 8 or 9 games and get bounced in the first round. And it feels like that's where we're headed. They're right on track to go 8-9 or 9-8. That would probably be good enough to get it done, and you probably won't win a home playoff game.
Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.